What's up, guys? This is Ameera Roze, and you're watching the Shakkas Den.
And you are tuned into the Shakers Den.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome to the Shakers Den, where it's invite only. Brought to you by Battleground Podcast. Of course, we are in our Black History Month spotlight. And of course, today we're going to be highlighting and spotlighting the Menace, Ameera Roze. What is going on, girl?
Not much.
It's good. It's good. How are you doing? Like, how are you mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that stuff?
I'm getting there, honestly. But can't complain.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm happy to have you here in the Shakers
Thank you.
Den. We're glad that you accepted the invite because it's hard to get in here. You know, we still got people banging on our doors trying to get in, but you know, if you're not on the list, you can't get in.
Hey.
So we're going to do a little kind of get to know you first before we kind of dive right into the interview. So first,
Yeah.
this question is kind of hard for a lot of people, especially if you have a wide range of a taste. So how would you or describe your music taste with three artists?
3 artists. Okay. The Weeknd, Doja Cat, Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. What? See, that wasn't that bad, but some
No.
people who be a little difficult, like, you know, why listen to everything? It's like, well, we only got three. Okay, we're not opening up to everybody. If you are, you know, into sports, of course, outside of wrestling, what are some of your favorite sports teams? Whether it's like football, hockey, basketball, stuff like that.
For football, it's the Carolina Panthers. Basketball, right now, college. Carolina Tar Heels. Um, That's like the main things that I used to watch. I don't really watch it as much now, but like back when I did, definitely though.
Okay, I mean, of course, you're a North Carolina girl. You got to represent it all day, every day,
Hmm.
of course.
All day, every day.
So, what TV show has or had you in a chokehold recently?
um, I've been watching Tacoma on Netflix.
Okay.
Like me and my boyfriend were trying to find something to watch, and we ended up watching that, and it's pretty funny.
Okay. Awesome. Outside of wrestling, of course, what are some of your like favorite hobbies that you like to do?
Mhm. I sew, so I make all my gears. Um, I like doing that sometimes just to like cool my mind down, or like I make hats too, so I end up doing that. I dibble and dab in photography. When I was in college, that was kind of like a side hustle that I did. So I kind of like doing that. And I also like doing video editing. So if you watch my videos or you follow me on social media, you will see like my promos and stuff. Nobody else edited that. I edited that myself. So that's kind of my little hobbies that I do outside of wrestling.
Okay, that I've seen your recent one that you posted
Mhm.
before you had your match. I think it was on like the 27th and everything of January. I was like, hold on. Whoever did the editing did a great job, and I didn't know that you do the editing. Girl,
Mhm.
you are extremely talented in so many different ways.
Thank you.
You want to dabble in other things, you know, say and take like it as a professional career. I believe that you
Mhm.
could because their editing is top tier.
Thank you.
So of course, what is something about you that people would be surprised to know?
Um, I guess that I went to college and I'm like 28. People always think I'm young. And I'm
Hmm.
like, no, guys, I'm literally getting up there. But yeah, I went to college, graduated back in 2018 with a bachelor's in communication media studies.
I love that. So
Yeah.
listen, communication majors around here is up and running. I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
So congratulations on that. So that was just a little get to know you a little bit, and just in case people are not too familiar with Ameera Roze, just kind of give a little bit of get to know you. So let's kind of dive into the interview part. So first up, I love asking people this question because everyone has a different background of how they got into wrestling. So when did you
Mhm.
realize you were obsessed with the art of wrestling?
So my brother, I like telling the story because I don't know. We used to go to the daycare that my mom was like a teacher at, and we had our friend groups. He had his friend group, I had mine. His friend group was really big in wrestling because at that time it was huge.
Mhm.
So they had the figures, they had the rings, they had the belts, they had everything. And my brother was just like, want to fit in, be a part of the group. He was just like, oh, let me get into it too. He ended up getting his figures, whatever. And then he ended up watching SmackDown. I remember that. He ended up watching SmackDown, and I watched it with him because, if he's watching TV, I'm gonna watch it too. And I was
Right.
just like, this is interesting. So because I started watching it, I started looking on YouTube,
Mhm.
and I ended up coming across Team Extreme, which was the Hardys and Lita. And I was just
Mhm.
like, okay, like I can see myself doing this. And at that time, you're in elementary school, everybody's asking you what you want to be when you grow up. And I would tell people, oh, I want to be a doctor. But once I found out, I was like, actually, I want to do that. So yeah, I ended up pretty much doing my research and everything. And close to my 16th birthday, I started
Mhm.
looking up wrestling schools, but at that time I was too young.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of wrestling schools in North Carolina.
Mhm.
So did my research, ended up finding my trainer in high school. And then once he opened up his school, I ended up going there.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
trust me, I was very obsessed with the Hardys and Lita. They were like, I always wanted to be like Lita. I knew I was too young
Hmm.
in the underwear, like that. But it was really, really cool for her to do it because she was so edgy. She was so different. She was getting out
Yes.
there with the boys, and she was like a tomboy like myself. So
Hmm.
like I relate to her so much. So outside of Team Extreme, of course, who were some of your favorite wrestlers that you like to watch growing up?
Triple H, DX, pretty much. DX, I love China.
Mm,
Um, Undertaker, after I got over the stages of him creeping me out and scaring me. Kane before he unmasked, for sure.
mhm.
And then The Rock. Me and my brother were big Rock fans. He's a bigger fan of The Rock than me, but definitely The Rock.
Well, I know that he's pretty excited about what happened over this past weekend. I tell you that much. So when did you like? When was that direct moment, or that moment where you felt like this is something that you did want to make a career out of it, and you were just like, I'm just gonna do it.
I want to say when I went to TNA Impact, I
Mm-hmm.
had went to a house show, and they were doing pictures with Jeff Hardy in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And me actually going through the ropes and stepping foot in the actual pro wrestling ring was the moment I was just like, I want to do this. It was like I just felt myself being there, and I was just like, yeah, definitely.
I mean, of course, I've never stepped inside of a ring before, but I've always felt like I would want to just to see
Hmm.
what the feel is like. 'Cause, like, imagine people screaming your name and the lights are on,
Hmm.
or they could be booing you if you choose to be a heel. Which I
Right.
don't want to be in a heel. I'm a heel all day, every day, so it doesn't matter. I want all the
Hmm.
people. So I think
Oh
that's
shoot, do
really
it.
cool. So what is your of course, with being a wrestler, like a lot of people come from an athletic background. So
Mhm.
where is your athletic background from?
Elementary to middle, I did soccer.
Mm,
And middle, I ran track in I think 8th grade because I think that's the time you were able to do it. And then high school, I did track. College, I didn't make the track team because I didn't have a chance to actually try
mm,
out, but I did marching band, and that itself was tedious. I literally
mm.
said, like, even if I did a sport, the way they trained us and prepared us for the shows on Saturdays was just mentally and physically, it affected me. So yeah, definitely, I say marching band was a sport for me in college.
Because I mean, it's a lot of discipline, though. Like you have to make
Hmm.
sure that everybody's on one accord, and you got to make sure especially when you're doing those designs and everything on the
Hmm.
field, you got to make sure everybody's together. And if one person, I was just, I don't know, I think drumline messed me up a little bit too. The whole one band, one sound. I was like,
Hmm.
because my dad used to be in a band when he was in high school, and I
Hmm.
never thought of myself being in a band, but I always thought it was really, really cool to see so many people come out there and have the instruments and just the whole
Yeah.
coordination of everything is great to see. But knowing the process that goes into getting to where we're getting at, was like, you know what? Y'all not finna be banging on my door at 5 in the morning like they did in college. Like, we're not doing that because I like to sleep. So you're not gonna mess that up at all whatsoever. So now that you had that, that background, of course, with marching band and like the
Mhm.
discipline and everything, when you were getting ready to actually, train for to become a wrestler, do you feel like the discipline that you had with being in a marching band, it allowed you to have that discipline when you're training? Because I know it's a lot of with cardio with wrestling.
Mhm. For sure. I definitely say like not just marching band. I want to say me doing sports from when I was a kid, just being active itself, like played a part in me being a wrestler because it's like all the skills and everything that I learned from that. I pretty much put it towards wrestling and it helped out a whole lot. I know I always get told like slow down because I'm quick, but yeah, it definitely helped.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So, of course, a lot of people, are familiar with a little bit of stuff you did with WWE, especially with like the whole Ronda Rousey thing, trying to cause her from that damage, girl, and getting your arm popped out. But luckily, you're all right. So,
Yes.
I do want to ask though, because being an indie wrestler, you're just kind of getting started and you're getting these opportunities to be featured, whether you're wrestling on TV or you're just doing something backstage. But as a black talent, as a black woman, like how does it feel to be selected to have those type of opportunities?
Honestly, when it happened, I was
Mm-hmm.
just in shock. Like the first thing that I did was AEW. And when I say I sat there for like probably a good 2 minutes, like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So having an opportunity where it's like out of all these people that could have been chosen, I'm one of them. It literally made me feel better as a human being, but also as a professional wrestler because they could have chose anybody.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's so many people. Like I come across so many people. It's amazing. And I just know that I have people who actually reach out to me like often as heck telling me, "Oh, I'm with everything that you do. You're an inspiration. I love seeing how far you go. I love seeing what you're doing. Like keep going, keep pushing." And that literally makes me feel better. It makes me feel good.
That's amazing. I think that, when you guys are getting those opportunities, it's always great that people are do recognize you because they may have seen like a match
Mhm.
before. They may seen the things you've done.
Mhm.
It's like, oh my God, Ameera Rose, girl, watch out. We don't want you to get hurt or anything, but to see that, like, your family being able to see that, you being on
Mhm.
TV doing your thing and stuff. But let's get into more of like a little bit of your indie work. You've done a lot. I would say, girl, hold on, like 500 plus days as being like champion at FSPW. Like, who can you say can do something like that on the indies while being a black woman doing that? Like that reign in particular. And I when I looked at your recent promo video, you had like all
Mhm.
these names crossed out because you beaten them. Like you're
Mhm.
running through them. It's like your own little kill wall in a sense of like
Mhm.
taking all these people out. So like, are there any people that you would like to continue to add on to that list of people that you have X'd out in your video promo you had?
Definitely, but I don't wanna say them right now because I want it to be a
Mhm.
surprise whenever they realize that I'm actually coming after them. So, yes. That's
Well,
why
we're gonna,
if
yeah.
you actually caught it
Mhm.
after I did the names where it's X'd out,
Mhm.
there are names that's placed up there of people who
I
actually
saw.
wanna go after, yeah. So I
I
try to
saw.
put some little Easter eggs in there.
I like that because it's like you have those you're already taken out, but if people are not paying attention, it's like, oh well,
Mhm.
who else want to ask? So no, thought maybe you would share, but if you haven't watched that video, then you may need to look in there because there are some hints in there that let you know who could be next. You just don't know which one is next on the list.
Mhm.
They just up there on that board. So you recently had your match. I think it was against what Caden Pierre. I want to say if
Yes.
I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Mhm.
You had that video promo for him in particular because he had a lot to say
Mm.
about stepping into that ring with him. Like, get in the ring with like guys in general. Like, how does that feel?
Mm.
Being, as a woman, you step into the ring. Boys' strength are a little bit different
Mm.
in nowadays and everything, but to be able to beat them down, I think it's cool. Not gonna lie.
Honestly, I like it because I know usually let's say like it's new kids at the school because I help out sometimes.
Yeah.
They be so scared to do things with me. And I'm like, do y'all not see our trainer? Do y'all not see these other guys? They treat me the same way that they treat each other. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hit me. Do what you need to do. I am not scared. I'm tough. Like, I can take it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I guess. But yeah, I love it, honestly. I'm just like, yeah, let me just show that I can hang with them.
Mm-hmm. And I
Yeah.
think that's what it is because it's like if you can hang with them, I feel like they do have a lot more respect for you because I mean, the boys, I mean, they're already beating the hell out of each other anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have a girl, they're like, you get in this ring, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You get what you get. And that's how it was when I would like play sports like the guys. It did
Mm-hmm.
not take it easy on me. I've had the wind knocked out of me in multiple times. And it's like, you know what? I'm finna knock the wind out y'all because now I'm finna get mad.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
I think they do it just so you can get a little riled up or whatever, so that you can hit
Mm-hmm.
them twice as hard as you can. So let's move on into like I know recently you teamed with Leah Knight to go against Jada Stone and Maya World, and y'all had a really really cute promo video for them in particular. And Jada Stone and Maya World were on the Shakkas Den couple of weeks back and everything. So talk about first of all this match being with nothing but black women. You
Right.
don't get to see that often. So not only just teaming up with Leah, but also talk about working with her and also working with Jada Stone and Maya World.
Yeah. So everybody but Maya, I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So me and Lita, we have great chemistry whenever we wrestle. So I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I knew just putting us together was actually going to be really good and some magic would come to it because she's more of the muscle, I'm more of the speed. So I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's see what we do. She been killing it with her stuff too. So I was just like, okay, yeah. Me and Jada, we had our stuff. We had several matches together. If you guys been watching, I was talking about some of the Ameera Roze Jada Stone tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was just like, okay, cool. I got my girl here with me. Let's take on these two. And I wanted to see what Maya was all about because she's been out there killing it. She's pretty much been trending and whatnot. I just wanted to see what she was up to, what she had to say too. So yeah, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
I think everybody found out and everything like that too, which you guys did have a great match and everything too. So let's get into some like of your toughest opponents. I mean, you stepped in the ring with a lot of girls and guys in
Mhm.
particular. But who would you say was like your most challenging opponents that you stepped in the ring with?
Let me think. Dream Girl Ellie.
Hmm.
For sure, she hits hard. Like, I've heard about her and everything. I've seen her too, but like actually being in the ring, it was just like, okay, yeah, you're definitely challenging me. Yeah, she was fun to work with. It's just I've never wrestled her, so it was different. It was
Yeah.
different.
Okay. And who would you say like outside of like, we have our toughest and most challenging opponents, but who would you say like your favorite person to step into the ring with that you know that no matter how many times you may step into the ring with this person, is gonna always be magic?
All right, I got three:
Okay.
Leah Knight, Jada Stone, Sadie Lee Moss.
Okay. It's a really good lineup. I would say that.
Mhm,
All three of them bring something different to the table and everything.
mhm,
And Jada is just as fast as you are. So like
mhm,
she's so athletic and everything. So I mean with Leah, she got to power you down a little bit and everything and
mhm.
stuff like that too. So I think that's great. So who are some wrestlers that you may want to step into the ring with that you haven't already?
Definitely Maya's World, Maya Friday. There's one more girl. I was looking at her a couple of days ago. I know Brittany Brooks for sure. I've been watching her stuff too.
Mm.
Those three for right now.
Okay, got it. I'm sure that as time progresses, they're gonna try to maybe want to take a shot at your championship. But you being a minute, you're gonna knock them down and gonna continue on with your reign. And we can get you some
Mhm.
1,000-day reign, 2,000, the longest ever. Nobody's gonna be able to take that title. Okay. So let's get into, like your character and everything. It's very badass, very like in your face, very like I'm not the one to play with, like I was telling you earlier. So where
Mhm.
does all of that drawn from? Is that like your personality wise, or like do you take like some influences that you may have seen from like other wrestlers, or just like maybe like outside of wrestling that allows you to create this character?
So honestly, it's
Mhm.
like a play on my life because I had something happen to me my senior year in college.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh no. I had to take a moment and just think about everything. And I was like, oh no, I don't like this. I don't like how I feel like people are walking over me, feeling like they could do whatever they want to me. And like, it just be that. So I was just like, hold on, let me reach back out to my trainer and tell
Yeah.
him like, hey, I want to come back. And from there, I had my character all planned out. At that time, I was going by the Black Rose, which the meaning behind that kind of played a part of the character. And then I
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, I want to come in like pretty much strong, pretty much saying I'm going to take whatever and I don't give a crap. Like nobody's going to do anything to me. Nobody's going to say anything to me. That's pretty much how that came to be. So it's a play on my life.
Um, Whatever happened, I pray for y'all. I tell you that much. But I do want to, kind of get into this conversation here because there's been a lot of times where, of course, being black in wrestling, there's those connotations of like you have to be this type of stereotypical black person where you're either someone from the hood or you're ghetto, you're ratchet, and things like that.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, it's not every black person that comes into wrestling or just everyday life. Now, not every black person lives the same lifestyle or grew up within
Mhm.
the same environment. So, how do you, with your character and just you personally, try to stay away from the stereotypical characters that they like to create for Black people?
I just try to remain myself.
Mhm.
And I know me, myself, I know my real name comes off as very stereotypical, but me, myself, I'm just not that, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. Oh, she's definitely acting like she a hood person. I don't know. I never wanted to be a stereotype at all. And even if somebody was like, oh, I want you to do this, I'd be like, why? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Only because like no. So yeah. Mm-mm.
That's good. Cause like I mean you just sometimes, with creative in a sense, there's always that trying to push that point of this is what's gonna bring, that entertainment in or things like that.
Mhm.
It's like you just try to box everyone into one box and then not
Yeah.
realize that everyone is not the same and stuff like that too. So I think that's great that at the end of the day you still know who you are, you're true to yourself, and that
Mhm.
leaves that authenticity there where a lot of people do sometimes lack because they're just trying to, get somewhere. So I know like also in wrestling growing up, there weren't a lot of black women, period. Across
Mm-mm.
the board where we had that type of representation. And now, as years go on and we're seeing like a plethora of black women or just black talent, period, being on the indies or on, in these big companies and all over the world. So when you were, of course, diving into wrestling and watching on TV and going to the shows and stuff like that, now actually becoming a wrestler, do you feel like there has been a big evolvement with the wide range of black talent that we do have as of today?
Oh, for sure. I can definitely say, like, I don't know if you guys seen that post that Brianna made where it shows like all the black female wrestlers within
Yeah.
pro wrestling itself.
Hmm.
That list keeps growing as the years go by. I literally had somebody go on my YouTube channel and post a comment on one of my videos and said, I am so happy that you're wrestling, something along that lines, basically saying that his little girl watches me and she has somebody to finally look up to.
Hmm.
So, yes, definitely.
I think that's beautiful, honestly, because there are a lot of, a lot of times it's like wrestling's for boys, blah blah. But girls like to wrestle too, and girls like
Mhm.
enjoy the art of wrestling as well. And you have those, little black girls who now have that opportunity to have what we didn't have. We only had
Right.
a select a few, like, Jazz or Jacqueline, or
Mhm.
we had like Awesome Kong or Aja Khan, or we had like
Mhm.
Crystal, or we, end up getting like your Alicia Fox and everything. And, we
Right.
really didn't have that much of an opportunity to have that. Now we have like your Naomi's, your Bianca Belairs, your Jades, your Athenas, your Willow Nightingales. There's so
Mhm.
many to just like name. Like you have your Tasha Stills, you know what I'm saying? We have like a big plethora of black women talent as of today. And I think that is so amazing to see, in a sense as well. So I want to ask you this. So what does it mean to be a black woman in wrestling to you?
Oh, it's so empowering because I just know that the next person who comes up can eventually say, "I did this because of you."
Yeah.
Or for me, it was when I tell people this whenever I first started, or like in college, I was kind of nervous to tell people that I was into wrestling because, like you said, there weren't a lot of black people in it. So I
Mhm.
was just like, I don't want anybody to feel nervous or scared to say, "Hey, I like this, I enjoy it." I want them to pretty much with all their heart say, "Oh my gosh, I love this and I want it because of her or because of him." So that's yeah, I'm happy about it. So happy.
Of course, like I said, I think that it's amazing to have that, and the representation just really really big. Now we have like a big community of
Mhm.
wrestling fans, and like those who are part of media that's in wrestling too. There are women or black men and stuff like that. So I think that's is the growth is amazing, and I'm excited to see where everything is like 10 years from now or something like.
Yes, me
know,
too. Mm.
I want like more of all of this happening for all of
Mhm.
us. That is cool. So my next question is going to be a follow up to that, with what it means to be a black woman in wrestling. But who are some black women in your life, whether they wrestle or just like family member wise, that have motivated you and inspired you to be the best version of yourself?
My mom, I watched her struggle since I was a kid, mainly with her health and everything. So, my mom and my dad at this point,
Mhm.
um, I'm definitely just trying to do everything I could to, like, potentially make it so they both can see me hopefully one day make it. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely those 2.
Beautiful. So before we get out of here, of course, we're past the 1,355 days of January because seems like we never can get out of that month. What is something that you are looking forward to for 2024?
Um, doing a whole lot more, winning more belts for one, gaining a bigger fan base, and doing more extra work and potentially a tryout. Who knows? Who really knows? Because I didn't expect any of that to happen. So who knows?
Well, listen, we're gonna manifest that we get some tryouts in for you. I would love to see you do some stuff in TNA, of course,
Hmm.
because I mean, TNA is going crazy with the knockouts division. Like, I would love to see you get some involved somehow, some way there, of course. Before we get out of here, let everyone know where they can keep up with you.
On Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can follow me there at LILMCCIZZIE, which is Lil McKizzy. Don't ask me how I got that. I don't know.
All right. Well, Ameera Rose, I thank you so much for coming into the Shakkas Den, accepting the invite, and hanging out with me here. Of course, you guys, you can continue to follow us on all social media platforms at the Shakkas Den all over. Shout out to Battleground Podcast, as always, for having us here to showcase nothing but the greatest thing here that has been brought to this world, and that is the Shakkas Den, where, of course, it is invite only. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
And you are tuned into the Shakers Den. Shaking.